What's really going on, 2025-2026. 1. Trucking industry under strain. The U.S. trucking industry has been facing persistent operational difficulties. Driver shortages. The gap between the number of qualified drivers and freight demand remains structurally large, with industry estimates placing U.S. shortages at tens of thousands of drivers. Recruiting younger drivers continues to be difficult due to lifestyle, pay, and training barriers. Bankruptcies and financial pressure. Some carriers, especially in high-cost environments like California, have faced closures due to low freight rates, high costs for compliance, insurance, wages, and regulatory burdens. Cargo theft and security issues. Cargo theft, evolving freight crime, and brokerage challenges are noted as compounding trucking industry difficulties, affecting food and other freight security. These and other stressors contribute to capacity constraints, making it harder to guarantee reliable delivery timelines for retail, groceries, and parts supply. 2. California's unique pressure points. California's logistical network is especially complex and sensitive due to port bottlenecks. Major ports like Los Angeles, Long Beach, and Oakland handle a large share of U.S. imports. Congestion. There has historically amplified supply chain woes because goods can pile up if trucking capacity fails to keep pace. Regulatory complexity. State labor and trucking rules, including reclassification of independent contractors, e.g., via laws like AB 5, have increased operating costs and compliance demands, influencing carriers' decisions on where to operate. There are reports of carriers reducing California operations to avoid classification liabilities. Distribution network impact. According to recent reports, the combination of regulatory pressure, rising costs, and carrier exits in California is increasing transportation costs, container dwell times, and rerouting freight to other ports or regions, potentially pushing up prices and delaying deliveries. Retail impacts. Loss of trucking capacity linked to California has been suggested to affect retailers most reliant on that region, e.g., warehouse and wholesale supply to places like Costco. While these reports show localized effects and higher costs, they do not necessarily prove a nationwide collapse of supply chains, but rather demonstrate significant stress points in certain corridors. 3. How logistics stress affects food and AMP. Retail food and essential goods rely heavily on trucking at multiple stages. Checkmark. Most food movement from farms, ports to stores is done by trucks. Checkmark. Transportation accounts for a non-trivial portion of retail food costs. When shipping costs increase or driver availability drops, prices rise and availability can shrink. Indeed, estimates have shown that if trucking suddenly stopped entirely in the U.S., grocery stores could run out of stocked food items within a few days, illustrating how essential trucking is to everyday commerce. Specific product shortages, e.g., eggs, can stem from multiple causes that compound with logistics stress. Disease outbreaks, e.g., avian flu, affecting livestock production raise prices and constrain supply before goods enter the distribution network. Labor shortages in agriculture and distribution also contribute to price volatility and availability issues. Thus, when trucking capacity is impaired, whether by labor shortages, regulatory shifts, or economic pressure, retail shelves can become less stocked and prices can increase, particularly for perishables and items requiring frequent transport. 4. National versus local supply chain impact. Yes, supply chain disruptions like those seen during the COVID-19 pandemic have global repercussions when maritime, port, rail, or trucking systems are stressed. Those crises showed how interconnected logistics can be. Port backups, container shortages, and shipping delays cascaded worldwide. However, checkmark national food supply collapse is extreme and unlikely under normal conditions. Certainly, disruptions can affect pricing and availability temporarily, but the existing network is robust and diversified with cross-border freight lanes, including rail and inland ports, regional warehousing buffers, alternative routing options. What is true? A trucking shortfall can contribute to localized and regional shortages in retail inventory. Producers and retailers may face higher costs and longer delivery times. Some industries, especially perishables, parts supply, and last-mile delivery, feel the strain more acutely. What is less supportable? The idea that a single state's trucking challenge automatically causes a national logistic collapse is not supported by broad data. Other factors, global supply chains, diversified routes, rail, and intermodal systems, help maintain flows even when segments are stressed. 5. Broader supply chain disruption factors. Supply chains are inherently interconnected and can be affected by a wide array of factors beyond trucking, including trade policy and tariffs, which introduce cost volatility and publishing uncertainty. Labor shortages in warehousing, transportation, and agriculture. Inflation and rising input costs, affecting production and transport costs. Cargo theft and crime, which can disrupt deliveries and increase security costs. Supply chains remain a complex network. Stresses in one node, like trucking, ripple outward, but they rarely cause isolated total breakdown without layered contributing factors. Pushpin summary. California and AMP. National supply chain status. What's real? The trucking industry is under significant stress due to driver shortages, collapsed carriers, and cost pressures. California's specific regulatory and labor issues are contributing to regional distribution challenges and cost increases. Retailers and food distribution systems feel the effects of these logistics bottlenecks, particularly in perishables and large freight corridors. What's mischaracterized? A complete nationwide supply chain collapse driven solely by California's trucking situation is not supported by current evidence. Supply chains are stress-tested systems. Disruptions are real, but there are resilience mechanisms, rail, inland ports, diversified routes, buffers, that prevent wholesale breakdown. Brain overall insight. Logistics and transportation are the lifeblood of the supply chain. When segments like trucking face prolonged stress, it does meaningfully increase the likelihood of shortages, price spikes, and delivery delays. However, this tends to show up as regional pressure points and economic pain rather than a total systemic collapse, especially in a large, diversified market like the U.S. Global Robotics Corporation.